Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airiyanam, Namo Uvachayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam. Jai Jinendra Sabiko. So it was nice to see you guys discuss the previous class. And I'm glad, well, at least some of you spoke. Next time, I want each and every one of you to speak. And, it was done in last class. I think it helps to revise and take out whatever little bit misunderstandings we have, which is important. You don't want to kind of have a wrong understanding and continue with that. So it's kind of nice. Okay, so what I was saying was the Panchkalyanak. I'm in Jabalpur, Panchkalyanak. And I was trying to explain what that is. So, especially Tirthankars, right? Not all Arihants, but Tirthankars, we celebrate the 5 important events of their life. It can be done anytime. Temples will do it sometimes and during special pujas. Some people do it for Mahavir Janma Kalyanak also. Some people will do the whole Panch Kalyanak puja or something like that. So, but then when it's a new temple happening, Pratishtha, which means there are some special mantras they do for the Murti to now call it live Murti. Before that, at least 5 days, they do the when the Bhagwan came into the Garb, then Janma Kalyanak. Uh, Yesterday was Tap Kalyanak. When he took Diksha, that is an event, important event of Bhagwan's life. Then when he got Keval Gyan, and then when he got Moksha. So those Panch Kalyanaks are celebrated. We have attended few of them, and it's very I find them well. Panch Kalyanak also becomes nimit in people to get Samyak Darshan, because you are learning about what happened when he came to the womb, what kind of dreams his mom saw, what each of the dreams mean, what his life was like he was a king, he had all the wealth, all the positive circumstances going on for him, and how he still felt that no, this is not enough. There is still misery in life. There is still so much out there, and I want to be with my own soul. Like in Jabalpur and different places will have different Bhagwans, Panchkalyanak, which means then you would get to hear their stories. Here is Mahavir Bhagwans, right? Some places it'll be Adinath Bhagwan, some places it's Shantinath Bhagwan, different. So you get to hear some got married, some did not get married. So if they got married, then they will show their wedding, and it's big pomp and shows. It's fun. And then it's just amazing. It's a huge undertaking. I mean, this one is relatively not as big as some of the other ones that have happened this within last year. One happened in Songar, one happened in Hastinapur. So anyway, what you observe here is there's like about 12,000 people that came. So all these youngsters that are in colleges where they teach Jainism are called from different towns, their local youth group. They are arranging, they're helping and arrange, manage. They tell me that coming and helping manage this event is like going through an MBA. He says, you don't learn even that much in doing an MBA as you do here. I mean, imagine putting up all these people in hotels, arranging for, cars, whatever coming, going, meals 3 times, managing, the whole event. Everybody's sitting in under one roof. It's a whole artificially created pandal, like in India. I don't know. I haven't seen much of those in the US. And then mostly local town here has prepared for this for the last 3 to 6 months. All these, very professional dances, dramas, stories. So it's like you learn about it, but also this is the only time you learn about it in such a pomp show way. In general, all our festivals are not like Hindu festival, you eat, drink, and marry types. Most of our festivals are you do fast, you learn to do tap, you learn to do control, that type of thing. And here also, and then there's of course lectures from special scholars, at least 3 lectures a day. So it's very comprehensive. It's a lot of pujas. It starts like 6:30 and ends at like 11:30. So probably not everybody can attend everything, but it's really nice. Then you learn a lot. And so here, because there's people from all ages, they try to do programs for each, groups of people. So a lot of programs for youth. So this drama that I talked about, I think, was created by youngsters for youngsters. What you experience in your daily life at work and things like that. So it was pretty nicely done.
Ranti, can I ask a
So
question? Can I ask
yeah.
about the Panchakalyanak? One thing I always was wondering was, why is so much emphasis given on the first Kalyanak, the conception or Garbhagriha? I mean, is it because of the Chauda Swapna? Is it because of the
It's
womb
all pomp and show.
womb
It's not
transfer?
more important than anything else. No.
No. I don't mean more
Actually,
important, but why is so much emphasis? Like, it's easy to understand Janma,
yeah,
Kevanya,
I'll tell you why.
Moksha,
Yes,
right? But why
because the
that
Garbh
conception given?
Kalyanak is important because the mother who was lucky enough to have this baby is also going to go to moksha.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's huge. To which family this, baby is born, what happens in that town when he comes into the womb. There is peace everywhere. There is a lot of um, um, you know chamatkars or whatever you want to call it happens, but Jainism doesn't normally emphasize on those things. So other religions emphasize everything on chamatkar, like, oh wow, this happened and that's why he's Bhagwan. And we don't do that. He's not Bhagwan because of all these chamatkars that are done with by the devs. The Swarglok Dev have abilities to do things here. So a lot of stuff is done by them. But we don't give that much importance to all that. But we display, so we also know that Jainism has all this, but to us it's minuscule. Whereas other religions, that is their primary thing. So it's primarily to teach you adhyatma, but to because people can relate to rag, right? You can all day and like that. What are we doing? Rag, dvesh, rag, dvesh. So people are all excited about, wow, so much wealth, so much devs coming, Indriya or whatever, Devis dancing, Indra Indrani of the Swarg. They and this actually happens here. Everybody's of course acting. So the Indra and Indranis, they know ahead of time that this is going to happen, and then they come. And even the Devtas, remember, we in Balbodh we learned that none of the gatis is favorable. So the Devtas also want to be humans, because this is the only life where you can do tap, you can take sanyam, which is you can become a sadhu and go to moksha. So even though they are in a very favorable circumstance, but to them it is not favorable enough. They really want to be humans. So like yesterday when the Janma Kalyanak happened, they show this interesting conversation between devtas and humans. Okay, so the baby is born now, and somebody has to bring the baby from the mother to bathe the baby, right? So there's a conversation happening between devtas and humans. Devtas say we should have the right to get the baby first time, uh, and because we created all this Ratna Varsha, we created all this, and then the humans say that no, 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 no. We are the ones who have the right to touch the baby first because we are the only ones who can do tap. And it's a very nice conversation that happens between Devtas and Manushya. And finally, Devtas give in that, yes, actually, humans have the first right because Bhagavan himself is being born as a human, and only humans can do the tapasya and go to moksha. And all those things. So they do that, and then they take him to this artificially created little mountain, and everybody participates in doing the first bath of the baby. It's, Indra Indrani are the ones who actually do that. And then all the other people also, they wear the puja clothes and do that.
So this is all really to increase bhakti, right? To increase that bhavna and bhakti, that
Yeah,
devotional.
so this part is all emotional, just like normal humans. Baby is born, everybody's happy, everybody's dancing, all this happens in the whole town, and Indra, their Varsha, they're pouring diamonds and, whatever. Basically, they're showing that, look, Bhagwan's life had so much more than you would ever imagine. And still it was worthless, and he took Diksha. So this is just to get you that feeling that, hey, don't be too impressed by whatever little bit of, what do you call, fame or wealth or whatever you got. It's not a big deal. So, Bhagwan obviously had a lot more than one could ever imagine. And still he felt it was worthless, not more than the soul's abilities and soul's purity and the kind of happiness you would have within your soul. So, okay. Now, which chapter I think we did half one chapter. Which one was that?
We started on karma.
Karma, right? We only did the first page, maybe?
First, yeah.
Yeah. But Prabha, before we go to that, is it possible to just clarify one or two points from the Shatta Avashak, the previous chapter?
Okay.
So I was reading all the notes again and reading the text, and I just wonder if you can explain it one more time, the difference between Nishchay and Vyavahar. So as it's applied to the Jnani Shravak versus the regular Shravak. So I'm just, you need a little bit more, to.
Okay. So Nishchay is the real stuff. Everything is happening in the Atma. It's the stages of Atma, whatever is happening in the Atma. But Vyavahar is, let's say we want to understand soul, right? I could just tell you, you are soul, and I'm done. What does that mean anything to you? Nothing. So until I explain more, the moment you talk about something, it becomes Vyavahar. Okay, so that is one type of Vyavahar. The other is, in reality, everything is happening internally within your parinam. Parinam, remember we talked about the modes of the soul, your thought process, everything is internal. But to explain, we talk about karmas, we talk about dravya, all those things. So they are just saying that everything else is vyavahar. Now, vyavahar also means that the kriyas we do is all vyavahar. Even though the eventual goal is to reach nishchay, to reach the soul. Is that making sense to you? And as we progress, you will understand the difference more.
Yeah, so if I can just give maybe one example. So let's say you're doing tap, right? So Vyavahar tap, let's say you're doing upas, right? You're doing some fasting. So Vyavahar tap is like, okay, every Monday, every Tuesday, whatever, I am doing ekasana or I'm doing some upas. And you're not thinking about it. It's just a routine, rote by rote thing. You're just doing it. But Nishchay tap, like that same upas, will be something, either it will be the same physical fasting but with very deep meaning, so you really understand why you're doing it, or it may not even be physical fasting. It may be a different kind of internal tap, but you've really understood the nature of that tap, as opposed to just doing it as a ritualistic thing.
No. Nishchay tap is basically you are being within your soul longer and longer. Now, because you were in meditation, you did not eat, so it automatically became upvas. That is Nishchay tap.
Okay, so you're not setting out to do upas. Upas automatically ho jata hai.
Yes.
Because you're so engrossed in your own atma.
Everything Nishchay means being in your soul. That's it. Simple as that.
Same with Dev Puja. Dev Puja
Everything.
You're looking at the clock. Okay, I only have 1 hour, a half an hour, फटाफट कर लेते हैं सब ये सब, right? And if you're doing
Right.
Nishchay Dev Puja, you have no idea what the time is because
Just
you're
being
so
with yourself.
engrossed in it, right? Okay.
Yes, exactly. So Nishchay is everything just being with yourself, being within
Okay.
your soul. So, and Vyavhar is then everything else. And also what we talk is Vyavhar because we have to explain, and to explain, you have to use any other things other than soul.
Okay. Thank you. That helps. Dhanyawad.
Okay.
Then why everywhere partial purity is mentioned, right? We saw, right, the
Yeah,
six
so
essentials,
partial
right? Everyone,
purity means that you understand. So, okay. So, whenever Samyak Darshan happens, right, what happens is initially, whenever I say Samyak Darshan, first of all, keep in mind, it's only talking about one. So, Mohaniya Karm, there's two parts of Mohaniya, Darshan Mohaniya and Charitra Mohaniya.
right?
Whenever I say the word Samyak Darshan, we are only talking about
Darshan.
Darshan Mohaniya Karm. Not all karmas always, right?
Okay.
So only the darshan mohaniya karma gets settled down. It's not out of your soul yet. The first time when you get samyak darshan. And with it comes first time when you have samyak darshan. Also, so this is one generic thing is that once you have samyak darshan, the knowledge you have becomes samyak gyan. The reason being, so let's say I knew all about soul and everything like we are reading the books. Still, it is paroksh gyan, right? It's somebody else is telling you. Now, once I experience it, now I haven't known it. It's with experience. So then all my knowledge becomes experiential knowledge, which is called samyak gyan. Because it is through my soul's experience. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be perfect in physics or I will know everything about chemistry. But whatever I know is samyak.
Got it.
And
But
samyak, yeah.
no, so Samyak Gyan, right? Why it is translated as a partial purity? Samyak Gyan, as it means, right?
No. Where did you read that? Samyak gyan is not
No,
partial
no.
purity.
So when it says, right, that Bhava Dev Puja, right, is the partial purity appropriate to the Jnani Shravak, right? So why partial purity? Because
That is, remember I said that Gyani Shravak means Samyak Drishti Shravak. Okay. Samyak Drishti Shravak is not 100% there, right? He's not Bhagwan yet. But he
he's
has
in that.
experienced the soul.
Okay, he's in that middle one, Madhyara
Yes.
Atma, right?
Antaratma, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Antaratma
He's not
Madhyam. Okay.
Vairatma because once he has experienced the soul, he is not Vairatma anymore because now he relates himself with soul, not with his body. So he's Antaratma.
So
And
all
then
these,
Antaratma goes, yeah, go
so
ahead.
the six essentials, right? Whatever we saw, Dev Puja, Guru, Swadhyay, this is all associated only with the Shravak.
No, I mean,
It can't be for the Paramatma, right?
not
What was it,
Paramatma, but Antaratma can also do the 6 hour
Yeah.
shifts.
Monks can also do, right? Yeah.
Uttam Antaratma can? It
That,
refers
yeah,
to
because
that as
the
well.
after sixth Gunistan is all sadhu, right? When once you take Diksha, you are in the sixth Gunistan. So remember we said Uttam, Madhyam, and
12th Gunistan.
right. So Uttam is 12. So anything above sixth Gunistan is sadhu.
Okay, understood.
So yeah, that partial purity was kind of a funny terminology for me too, but I think I understand. Basically,
Yeah, and
it's
like I
going to be
said,
all.
sometimes when you translate into English, you cannot always find the perfect words.
Yeah, but basically, it's going to always be partial until you get to Paramatma. Always will be partial
Yes,
until that.
of course. Not until it's 100%, it's
Right.
obviously partial.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. So only Keval Gyan is 100% Gyan, right? Anything below that is still partial.
Okay.
That's why it's called cable. Sirf
Yes.
Okay. So should we start then? Let's share the book.
Yeah.
We'll just continue with this English book. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do
Yes,
that.
I am. We did the first two paragraphs.
Yeah, we did the
of
introduction of the author, right?
I think we did this one also, but somebody can correct me because I read the entire thing, so I don't remember exactly where did we stop, but I think we stopped somewhere here.
I think
What is
we
Bhava
just read the introduction, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Then we start with the first.
Okay. So in introduction, let me briefly tell you, like the Hukam Chanji always introduces the author who was the original author or author of the Granth he got this excerpt from, right? So he got this Karma chapter from the Gomatsar, right? There's a Gomatsar Karma Kand. So he's talking about the author Nemi Chandra Acharya, who wrote a lot of these books, and one of them, some of them were Gomatsar, Jeev Kand, Gomatsar, Karm Kand. There's two separate of the same, Agam. And then that author also wrote so many other Agams, Labdisar, Shapnasar, Triloksar. And the reason he gives you all this information is, let's say you like what this author wrote. Now you just got interested in reading more books from that author. So then you come back to this and say, oh, let me find out what else this author wrote and see if I can read those. So it's kind of nice that he gives an introduction of the original Agams Acharya and other works of that Acharya. So, you get interested. Some people might get interested in knowing more about that author or going back and read those books.
Yeah, and the other reason, Auntie, is that because we hear so many things from childhood and we don't know where they come from. So now you have a reference, right? If you are discussing with somebody else or other religions or something, okay, this is from an author from this text from this period, right? And I think that's important for some people.
Just like in college, right? Whenever we wrote papers, we had to write references. Where did you get this information? You can have a long list of references of all the books you read in order to get to that little paper you wrote. So, this is similar. And we give a lot of emphasis to the reference from the Agam that we got, because Agams are the most superior. And we want to make sure that the information we have is authentic as it can get. Because obviously, there's like tons of books written. Even today, so many people, little bit knowledge they have, and they write a book about Jainism, right? But it's not always accurate information. It's something they think they understood, right? But that's not what we are interested in. We are not interested in some professor somewhere in the world writes a book about his understanding of Jainism. We want to go to the core material. So, okay. So then let's start with the karma. There's two Chamundrai and Acharya Nemi Chandra. So let's say Bahubaliji, you want to become Chamundrai, and Viraj, you want to do Acharya Nemi Chandra? Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Karma, Chamundrai. Oh monk, why is this Atma unhappy? What is the highest interest of Atma? Please explain.
You're talking in mute. Viraj, unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. The state of Nirakula Sukh, unperturbed, stress-free bliss, is the highest interest of Atma. And this can be achieved only by taking Asharya, auspicious shelter.
Ashrav, that is read as
Ashrav of Atma. However, Jeev has forgotten the Gnana Svabhavi, inherent intrinsic nature of knowing Atma, and is engaged in vikari, unnatural activities in the form of moha, rag, and dvesh. delusion, attachment, and aversion, and so is unhappy.
We have heard that the cause of suffering is karma.
No, brother, when this Atma forgets itself and by his own self indulges in vikari parinama, unnatural modification, in the form of moha, rag, and dvesh, then the fruition of karma is said to be the nimit, instrumental cause. Karma does not force Atma to do vikara.
Since you guys discussed all this, we must have read it.
Yep,
That
we
makes
read it.
Okay, let's continue reading. It's fine.
What is nimitta, instrumental cause?
When a substance itself transforms into karya, action, then the corresponding favorable entity upon which causability is imposed for this action is called nimit, karma. Nimit karana, instrumental cause. Similarly, when the soul, due to
Nimit karan.
nimit karan, yeah, nimit karan, okay.
You guys are going to have to get used to it. So what happens is, when you see the A at the end, normally we are used to pronouncing it A. But the way this English translation has happened, and this is sort of kind of a debatable issue, honestly.
Right.
We are just a system where if it is A at the end, it means a complete na. If you
No.
don't have the A at the end, it becomes half na. And then if it is a sound like karan, there is that little thing on the top of A, that little line.
Right.
That tells you that it's a sound like karan.
Karan, yeah, nimitta
So
karan.
just so you guys know how to read this.
Yeah, thank you. Nimitta karan, instrumental cause. Similarly, when the soul, due to its own fault, transfers into a vikara, unnatural state like suffering, etc., then the corresponding fruition of the karma is called nimitta.
While we understand that Atma is unhappy due to its own mistakes and not due to jnana varna, knowledge obstructing, etc. karmas, but what is this mistake?
The mistake of Atma is by forgetting its true self and imagining par, non-self, as beneficial or non-beneficial, it engages in bhava karma in the form of moha, rag, and dvesh, delusion, attachments, and aversion.
What is bhava karma?
With the fruition of karma, when the jiva modifies into vikari, state of moha, rag, or dvesh, delusion, attachment, or aversion, then these states are called bhava karma, psychic karma. Through this nimit, instrumental cause of these moha, rag, dvesh, karma vargana, karmic matter particles, modifies into karma and becomes associated with the Atma. These are called the dravya karma, material Atma.
Yeah. Okay. So Vargana, you said, okay? The
Vargana.
doesn't have the line. So
Right.
it would be Vargana.
Vargana. Okay.
Okay, so the moha, raga, dvesha arising in the Atma that are nimitta of instrumental cause of bondage of karma or bhava karma, and the mass of karma formed from karmic matter particles are the dravya karma.
Yes, basically these karmas are of 8 types. Among these 8 types of karma, Gnana Varnya, knowledge obstructing, Darshana Varna,
Obscuring.
obscuring, yeah, sorry, knowledge obscuring, Darshana Varna, perception obscuring, Mohaniya is deluding, and Antraya is obstructive, are the Ghati karmas. And Vedniya, Ayu, Nam, and Gotra are the Agati karmas.
What is the meaning of Gatya and Agatya?
Karma which is nimit and is, I'm sorry?
Dinesh Burarji, are you trying to say something? Otherwise, mute. Okay, go ahead.
Karma which is nimit, instrumental in Ghat, obscuring, of Anujiva Gun, inherent qualities of the soul, and are ghati karma, karmas which obscure the intrinsic nature of substance. Those that are not nimit of obscuring the anujiv gun. Am I pronouncing it right? Anujiv?
Anujivi.
Anujivi.
Anujivi gun are aghati karma, karmas that do not obscure the intrinsic nature of substance.
So those karmas which obscure jnana, knowledge, must be called jnana varna. And those which obscure darshana, perception, must be called darshana varna.
Listen, when the Atma itself obscures its gnanabhav, attributes of knowledge, or does not manifest the potential efficacy of gnana, then the fruition of that karma, which is nimitta in the obstruction of Atma's attributes of knowledge, is said to be gnana varna, knowledge obscuring karmas. Similarly, when the Atma by itself obscures its attribute of darshana gun, attribute of perception, then the fruition of karma, which is nimit in it, is darshana varnya, karma obstructing perception. Gnana varnya karma are of 5 types, and darshana varnya are of 9 types.
And what about...
Okay, let me...
Okay.
Now remember, Dinesh, you were asking about the Nishchay and Vyavhar. Okay, so this paragraph sort of explains this properly. So in reality, what happens when the Atma itself obscures its Gyan Bhav? That is the real stuff. But who gets the blame? Is the Gnana Varniya karma, which is Vyavhar. In Vyavhar, we say, okay, because of Jnana Varniya karma, this happens. I am not able to get the knowledge. I'm not able to understand the scriptures or whatever the case may be. But in reality, karma is not forcing you to not learn. So do you understand now the difference between Nishchay and Vyavhar? So in Nishchay,
the karmas are the nimitta. The karmas are the nimitta, the instrumental cause.
They get the blame. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a tiny technical thing.
But they always coexist. Anything that happens will always have a nimit. Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
It Jnana Varniya? Is it Varniya or Varna? Because it's written both here. So Darshana Varniya or Varna?
Varniya should be the correct one.
So it's always Varniya.
Okay, so there's 2 ways it is spelled. Jnana Varan and Jnana Varniya.
So they're both correct.
Depending on the grammar, depending on the sentence, they could have used the Jnana Varan word or Varniya word.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I understood, right, what you said about the Nishchay and this, right? But when Atma, right, stops knowing its own attribute of knowledge, right, then the fruit of that karma, right, becomes nimit. How does it become nimit? Nimit means cause, right? It's a cause and effect kind of a thing. Karma is not the cause. The cause is the Atma.
Karma is not the real cause. Yes. So now when the Atma itself forgets itself, or whatever it does, then it's a natural thing that happens. Remember, we kind of picturized that all these karma particles are roaming around us. Okay. So when the Atma does that, this particular type of karma decides, Karman Vargana decides to modify itself into karma, and which is usually in groups, and comes in the same space as Atma. It's a normal, like a, what do you call, nimitic sambandha, I said. So because when Atma does this, naturally the karma comes.
But then the karma is actually causing the Atma not to get the right knowledge, right?
So, okay. So the Atma's bhav became the reason why the karmas came to you.
Correct.
Now that you have the karma, now the karma is becoming in the nimit for the soul to not reach Keval Gyan to get the full knowledge. So now, until all those karmas, Gyanavarni karmas, are out, you don't get Keval Gyan. So they both kind of are reason for each other.
But then does it not violate the first thing that we said, that none of the substance can impact each other? So Atmas, right, modification
cannot
of the
impact in reality, but they can become instrumental cause. Poison cannot kill you. Poison is what? It's a pudgal, right? It doesn't have mind to think that I want to kill Amit. Yet if Amit drinks poison, he's going to be dead.
So we
You
are saying
understand,
when
Amit
when
Sambandh?
Atma, no, I understood this, right? When Atma has basically lost this attribute of knowledge, right? It's not focusing on the attribute of knowledge. Then
Because
the
of its own
karma,
doing. Yeah,
because of its own doing, the karma then becomes active,
exactly.
or it
Yes.
gets converted into Gyan Varna, right? And that gets
Yeah.
attached to the
Karma
Jiva or
and
the
Vargana
Atma.
gets converted to Jnanavarniya karma. Yes.
Sorry, what gets converted to what?
Karma and Vargana is like the dust particles.
Oh, karma. Okay.
So like you have these loose particles. Now to get bound, a bunch of them are going to have to come together.
No, understood. No, I'm very clear.
Okay, let's continue then.
Okay. Chamundra, and what about Mohaniya, delusion karma? I'm sorry, delusion creating.
Yeah. When a jiva forgets his own nature and believes others to be his own, or is inattentive to Swarupa Karna,
Swarupacharan.
Swarup
That,
Acharans.
actually, this A needs the line. It's PA, that A should have the line because
Okay.
it's Swarupacharan.
Swarupa Acharana. Yeah.
I know this is going to be so confusing because we are not using C for ch. And I know we're all having a problem with this, but
Okay.
eventually you'll get used to it.
Yeah. Then the fruition of karma that becomes the nimit in it is called Mohiniya karma, delusion creating karma. Mohiniya karmas are of two types: Darshana Mohiniya, faith deluding karma, and Charitra Mohiniya, conduct deluding karmas. Further, Mithyatva, etc., are three subtypes of Darshana Mohiniya, faith deluding karmas. And the 25 Kashais, passions, are the subtypes of Charitra Mohiniya karma.
Now, in Gati karma, only Antaraya, obstructing karma, remains to be understood.
Fruition of those karmas which are nimit in obstruction of dana, charity, labh, which is gain, bhog, single-use indulgences, and upabhog, multiple-use indulgences, and virya, power of jiva, are called antray or obstructing karmas.
Now, please explain Agati, non-destructive karmas as well.
Yes, sure. Listen, when Atma itself experiences restlessness due to mohabhav and then materializes karmas, which is nimit for favorable and unfavorable association, is Vedaniya karma. It is of two types: Sata Vedaniya, which is favorable, Asata Vedaniya, which is unfavorable. When Jiv, by its own ability, stays within the body of Narkari, jivas in hell or infernal beings, Tiryancha subhumans, Manushya humans, or Devs, jivas in Devlok or celestial beings. Then the manifested karmas, which is nimit in it is called Ayu karma. It is of four types: Narakayu, the span of life of a jiv in Narkara. 2. Tiryanchayu, lifespan, or jivs as animals and plants. Manushayayu, lifespan.
Hold on 1 second. Somebody was helping me make a list of things that are a little bit wrongly spelled or something in these books. I can't remember who it was, but can you guys make a note of this? Narkayu is called Narkayu, which is a wrong spelling. There was one more I noticed somewhere. Kashaya was okay. Upabhoga, let's see. Charitra was okay. There was something I noticed that was wrong. Oh well, okay, I'll let you know as we go on. But somebody messaged me that they sent an email. Who was that? Is that person missing today? Okay, let's continue then.
Maybe
Okay.
not in this batch.
Yeah. Manushayayu, lifespan of jivas as human. and Devyayu, lifespan of jivas at Dev. The manifestation of karma, which is nimit, in the formation of that body in which the jiva resides, is called nama karma. It is mainly of two types: subha nama karma, auspicious, and ashubha nama karma, inauspicious. It has 93 subcategories. Manifestation of karma, which is nimit, is responsible or not respectful behavior of the soul contributing to its high or low status. And thus a jiva being born in a family of high or low values or with noble, ignoble conduct is called gotra karma. It is of two types. Yuka gotra,
Ucha.
Ucha
ucha gotra. Status would be noble family status, and a nitya gotra would be ignoble status.
Ignoble. Is that a word? I didn't know that.
Yeah, ignoble is a word. Lower status.
I'm improving my English. Okay.
Are there only 8 types of karmas?
Even within the 8 categories, there are subcategories which are called prakritis. There are 148 types. There are various nuances that can be understood through different distinctions. But for now, this is enough. If you wish to understand in detail, you should study the scriptures of Gomatrasara,
Gomatsar Karmakant and others.
Gomatsar Karmakant and others.
Okay. You will do that in semester 10. Okay. You actually will study that. Okay.
Can we
So
take a few questions?
not a bad read actually. So basically what we are saying is, so these karmas, so we 4 gati karma, right? So depending on what bhav you have, these karmas get associated with the soul. And the types, it depends on what action, what thought you did. Okay. So those things make you get these karmas. And now these karmas are obscuring your knowledge. Now, then let's say right now, okay, you kind of are interested in knowing about religion, but not so interested that this is all you want to do in life, right? But you're making an effort. So what happens is just the mere act of sitting through the class, using your intellect to understand the soul knowledge is helping you remove some of the Gyanavarniya karmas. So let's say somebody comes to me, in out of your samaj, Jain samaj, you will always find these people who will say, I don't like to come to lectures because everything goes over my head. I don't understand the language they use. I don't understand the words they use, for whatever reason, right? So I tell them, okay, even if you don't understand, just go and sit there. The mere fact that you made the effort, took the interest to know about the soul, and sat there is going to reduce your Gyanavarniya karma. So slowly, your interest developed and you start understanding more and more and more. So that is one example of how you could get rid of your karmas. Okay. So that is Gyanavarniya karma. Darshanavarniya, again, wrong perception. Mohaniya is the main one that we're trying to hit because the delusion.
Sorry, can you give an example of Darshanavarniya, Auntie? Give an example of Darshanavarniya.
Darshanavarniya is simply perception of things, right? So you misunderstand the world. You think this was the cause of it, or this is right, and actually that is not the case. Let's say
so these are all linked, right? Obviously, Dhyanavarniya, they're related concepts, right? They're not very distinct because Darshanavarniya, let's say you say this is not an apple, it's an orange, right?
Yeah.
It's also related to your intellect, right? It's related to your perception and your intellect.
Yes, it's just a matter of.
But there are different gunas.
Right? You can give so many reasons. This person is not intelligent enough. He couldn't see. He just thinks only he is right, so he has a wrong perception of things. There could be several reasons for it. Yes, that's fine.
But madam, but in this topic, especially Darshanavani and Jnanavani, it talks about the particular attribute, correct? It's not, both are not same, correct? I mean, outside it looks same.
Here we are only talking about, we are interested only in knowledge about the soul. But Jnanavarniya does apply to all the other knowledge also. Our primary focus is in the knowledge of soul.
Correct.
But let's say a kid is born playing tabla. 2-year-old kid plays tabla. Because his knowledge from previous birth of playing tabla stayed with him. That related Jnanavarniya karma was not there. So he's born, and he's born with that skill. So it's knowledge of any kind, right? But
So his
our
knowledge
focus
is
on
not
knowledge of
obstructed. That kid's knowledge is not obstructed. That's why at the age of 2,
exactly,
he
but
becomes
not, that is
Prakopa.
why the karmas can be infinite. It's not, we are only classifying it into 8 types and then further classifications, and you can go to the nth level. So his Jnanavarniya karma only related to playing tabla is not obscured anymore. So he's able to do that.
So is the wrong
But-
knowledge of the
But that
God?
is not, our goal is not to play tabla, or our goal is not to dance well, or whatever the case may be, right? Our goal is to be happy, which is attribute of the soul. And that's why we are only interested in knowing about the soul.
Okay. And is the wrong knowledge or the perception of the God, right, which you call as a kudev, right, where we are saying that they are not samyak darshan and not they're full of mithyatva or not vitrag, right? That is
Right.
also a
Our
darshana varna.
definition of Bhagwan is vitrag.
Yeah, so that is also a darshana varna, right? If our definition is not correct,
Yeah, you
then
have
that
the wrong
becomes a darshana varna.
perception. If you think any God can be our God, that is the wrong perception. Yes.
Okay, so that's the obscures its attribute of darshan good, right? So it becomes a part of darshan varna.
Yes.
This is the example of darshan varna. Okay.
Yes.
And samyak darshan related darshana varniya karma, of course,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
And
Samyak
deluding,
jnana-
because
samyak jnana-
any type of thing that is deluded in you, like wrongly understood, is all mohaniya.
So when you're
knowing the true nature of your substance is monia, not knowing the true nature of the substance
Not
is
knowing,
monia.
yes, is the mohaniya, yes. And because of that, all other karmas happen. All other karmas bind to you.
But in Samyak Darshana, the Darshana is about the Shraddha, correct? Not the perception.
Right. So first you will have the true understanding, only then you can have the true belief. If you don't understand, what are you going to believe?
Correct. Now, what I'm trying to say is, like, perception here is different from the Shraddha. The Darshana.
Perception is different from Shraddha.
Yeah.
Right. Darshan is belief.
Somehow English always calls darshan as perception, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the view, right?
The reason
All
I'll tell you
darshans
why.
are translated
So
as,
there is one is Darshana Varniya karma, which is perception obscuring. And then there is Mohaniya, which is the deluding karma. And there is 2 types within Mohaniya. So one is Darshan Mohaniya. Darshana Varniya is perception obscuring. Darshan Mohaniya is deluding your faith.
what's the difference?
Belief.
So faith, belief, and darshan, what is the difference between 3?
So the same word darshan is used, so it's kind of confusing.
Mm.
But in Darshana Varniya, it's perception. In Darshan Mohaniya, it is deluded faith. And yeah, make sure you write good notes so it's always clear, because yeah, whenever you read books, this is going to be confusing a little bit.
No, irrespective, I'm going one level back, irrespective of this karma, right? The 2 divisions, the darsha varna and the darshana
Enchanted
mohaniya.
girl.
Right now, what's the difference between a faith, belief, and a darshana? Simple. This 3 terms, right? When it is used,
so
when?
you can be having the wrong perception. Okay, one is having the wrong perception. Now, The other is your belief is deluded, which is right now, let's say your belief is that I am this, which is
Yeah,
all I can see,
my
right? My
body is
body,
me. Yeah. Yeah.
right? My body is me, which is a deluded belief.
Bahiratma.
Versus,
Yeah.
somebody just gave a perception example, remember? What was that?
I just said apple and orange.
Yeah, apple or orange, or you perceive things wrongly than they are. They're sort of connected in some ways, but yet there is a difference.
And Auntie, can you link then Samyak Jnana and Jnana Varniya Karma, Samyak Darshan, Darshan Varniya Karma? Like once you exhaust Darshan Varniya Karma, you have Samyak Darshan? Can we say that?
Usually, Darshana Varniya and Jnana Varniya go hand in hand. So when you get Keval Gyan, let's say, your Jnana Varniya Karma is completely gone. But before you get Keval Gyan, your Monia is also completely gone. And then with Keval Gyan, also Keval Darshan happens together. They both happen together. Okay.
So you were saying Mohaniya is a very big category, right? That's one of the main Ghati
Yes,
karma.
that is the main reason for us to get karma. So Monia is the big one. If you can get rid of the Monia, a lot will happen. So they say, okay, when you get Samyak Darshan, there's like a big process before that, right? There's 5 labdhis, and I mean, I'm not going to get into the details, but the point is the maximum Monia karma, like the quantity, can be 70 crore times crore. That's a huge number, right?
It's a lot of karma.
So that's the worst, right? But even in this life, even before we get Samyak Darshan, as our understanding becomes, corrected, okay, we can bring it down to 1 crore crore. Isn't that amazing?
One what?
I mean, that's huge.
Koda Kodi.
1 crore times crore. And Sagar is another like huge thing. For your understanding, I'm just saying crore times crore, but it's 1 Koda Kodi Sagar. And I mean, I don't want to get into that right now. Eventually, we will understand what is Koda Kodi Sagar. But this is just to give you guys a understanding of how much deluding karmas you can get rid of by just the true understanding of soul.
Prabhaji, can you give an example of some things I'm doing in my life today that's adding this Mohniya karma every day?
All day long, that's all you're doing. The mere fact that you associate yourself with this body is everything else is, what is it? Related to the body.
Body.
Your job, your kids, your wife, do I look good today? Am I wearing the right clothes? Everything.
Wow. So you're gathering all those karmas every day.
All the time, every moment. Yes.
So does Darshana Mohaniya will go first and then Charitra Mohaniya? Like if you have the right faith, then your conduct will improve.
Okay, so here is what it is. Darshan Mohaniya doesn't always go first time. It just gets settled down. So it's like we give the example of bucket of water which has a little sand in it or dust in it. If the dust settles, guess what? Your perception is clear. Clear water comes out, right? So first time when you get Samyak Darshan, the Mohniya karmas have not gone away. They've just sort of, they call it opsham, which is they're pressed down. They're just holding down there. So you can see the clairvoyance, or, you can see clearly. That is the first time Samyak Darshan. But with Samyak Darshan also happens Charitra. Charitra has 16 different types, out of which 4 are also subdued. Those are called Anantanubandhi. Anantanubandhi means infinite births that you will take. Now gets a little limit that, if you have Samyak Darshan, now your total births are limited to, it's still a huge number, but it's limited. Right now it's infinite, it's unlimited.
So that's progress.
So so charitra and darshan happen at the same time.
Anant Anubandhi, you said?
Once you have samyak darshan, automatically your gyan is called samyak. Any knowledge is called samyak gyan. So those three sort of go hand in hand. Okay, so are we good with karma chapter?
No,
No.
Antaraya, right? Antaraya, I didn't understand what is the obstruction of dana. I understand charity, but why labh, bhog, and upabhog, right? Why
Okay, so
indulgence and gain,
antray
right?
is okay, so there is dan, labh, bhog, upbhog, 4 types of antrayas, right? So
Right.
dan is that I want to donate, but somebody, let's say wife wants to donate and husband says, oh, this is too much amount, don't do it. So, well, since you have to live together, you better listen to the other spouse, right? So then that is like antray. Somebody is stopping me from donating. Then bhog. Bhog is something you consume once, or maybe it's the other way around. Like, let me clarify. So anyway, anything you consume once, which is like food you eat once, you don't eat the same food again. That is bhog.
Or anything
So
you experience, right? Anything you experience, right? Some
Right.
bhogi, jo bhi bhog rahe aap,
So
right?
anything that, let's say you are going on a vacation, you are
Right.
planning a vacation, and something happens there, and now you have to cancel your plans.
So your
That
bhog is finished. That's that's antaraya karma that's preventing you
That's
from
antray karma,
getting that
right?
bhog.
You couldn't do that bhog.
And upabhog might be, let's say, every day you want to eat some sweets, right? And if
Right.
something stops you, and you get diabetes, so now you cannot eat those sweets.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
antaraya karma for
Bhog also means like the house you live in, the furniture that you use again and again.
I see. And daily luxury or whatever, your vehicle,
Yeah.
those things. Okay.
You were going to buy that big TV or big something, and your wife said, no, we don't have enough money, let's not buy it.
And labha is pretty clear. It's gain, right? So
Labh is, say you are on a job, you think you are you deserve a promotion, you deserve a raise, and you're not getting it.
Right. Or whatever
is
you're
labh.
expecting to gain in terms of money,
Or
let's say.
there's loss in the business, that's all labh antray.
Okay. And virya?
Virya is the energy level. So
your general physical health, or is it related to Brahmacharya?
Yeah, physical, mental, all energies. So you're not able to do something. As you get older, your energy, you're becoming a little feeble.
So in a way, in Jnana Varnaya, Darshana Varnaya countries, they're also obstructing karmas. But when we talk about antaraya,
not all are obstructing.
right? But these antaraya karmas are specific to these categories. So
Yes.
in dan, labh, bhog, upabhog, virya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but this dan, labh, bhog, upabhog, right? They are not the true inherent nature of the soul. So if it is obstructing, why are we caring for it? I mean, why are we concerned? Why are we focused on it?
Think about it. If something is stopping you from doing something, don't you want to get rid of that reason?
No, but once I know that the true nature of the soul is the knowledge gaining part of it, right? Then why is this even an obstruction kind of a thing?
No, so obstruction is not making you realize the true nature. Virya is one of the qualities of the soul. And now it's being obstructed. So I have to figure out how to get rid of it. So I don't, I can experience all of the power of my soul.
No, virya I understand, but how about bhog and upbhog and
Yeah,
labh?
I think you're thinking of bhog and upabhog, right? And maybe once you reach that certain level of knowledge, maybe you won't care that I don't get to go on the vacation or I don't get to eat something, right? I mean,
Yes.
if it's right.
And that's okay. I mean, that state basically means that you don't have that obstructing anymore. Or even if it is, it doesn't bother you.
Right.
So the karmas will
about
come.
how it affects you. About how it affects you, because it can happen or doesn't happen. Yeah.
You, let's say you went and you missed the flight. right? One person will be screaming and at the wife, and you got us delayed, blah, 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 all that happens. The other person may say, hey, I have done good and bad karmas. This happens to be one of those bad karma coming to fruition. Accept it, no big deal. Buy another ticket, go if you want to. If you cannot afford it, go back home and done with it.
So then we say that the antaraya karma has reduced.
Yeah, then that is gone and you didn't buy new ones.
You're
if
not,
you
you're
did
not,
sorry.
I was just saying, you're not perpetuating that karmic cycle if you let it go, right? If you get upset and you're like, okay, I'm going to do something, I'm going to yell at the agent, or I'm going to do this, you are perpetuating the karmas. You're getting more
Exactly.
ashra. But if you let it go and say, this is my karma, that ashra is not happening, right?
Yeah. Except the fact that I'm the one who has done good and bad deeds. So obviously that's the natural thing to happen, is they're going to someday come into fruition. Oh, thank God, this is all that happened to me. I got, like, let's say you got a small cold, right? You could be thankful that some bad deed had to come into fruition. I could have gotten COVID. I could have been sick for a month. So that kind of takes you like into positive thinking in some ways. So basically, the whole point is, when you understand the reality of things, which is Vastu Swarup, it's easier for you to accept life as it comes. I think you're speaking on mute, Dinesh.
No, sorry.
Okay. All right.
So can you also cover Vedaniya? I don't understand that.
Vedaniya is very simple. Feeling producing, good or bad.
Feeling producing.
Yes. So you're excited about something, you're happy about something, that's Sata Vedaniya. You're sad about something, that's Asata Vedaniya. And you could be sad because of some mental problem. You could be sad because you got a fever. You could be like.
And those are just effects that are happening to you. That's why they are aghati karmas. So when you're feeling happy.
Remember I said, karma coming into fruition gives you circumstances. How you react to it is upon you. So asata karma come into fruition. You got sick. You had an accident. Anything that, sad feeling creating. Even the fact that you missed the flight, also asata is there, right?
How is Ayu karma then a Vedanya karma?
Ayu just is the lifespan. Everybody's born with it. You're born with an expiry date.
And sorry, I have one more question on this chapter. I apologize. And if I'm asking too many, just stop me. But
we're just going to because we'll have to do extra classes.
The fundamental question here, because we talked about how the karma is not making the Atma do something, right? It is the Atma, the bhav of the Atma that is making it, So with the Acharya Nemi Chandra is talking about the Atma forgetting itself, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and this may be something, this is the whole purpose of this entire course, but how does the Atma forget itself? And how does that, why is the Atma forgetting itself? And especially if it's at the stage of, let's say, Nigod, right? It has barely any consciousness at the Nigod stage. How is it, why is it committing this error in the first place? Because that error is creating the
karma.
Like
a chicken and the egg. What came first?
Right.
So that is the reality. This is the Atma was always in Nigod by its own, some good, whatever it did, it came out of Nigod into one sensed being. Then somehow it did something very good, that it came into 2 sensed beings and 3 sensed and 4 sensed and 5 sensed. So it is very, very extremely rare to get this human form, which is all 5 senses, and Sangni means the ability to the thinking process. And that is why the Acharya says that, hey, this is so limited time. You've gotten this ability, make full use of it, because you don't know when you'll get it again.
So, Prabhuji, again to Dinesh's question, why does it, let's say when we are born in a human form, right? Why don't we realize the true nature of the soul, that we have to live within the soul?
So
Why
why
does it
isn't the
start that way?
gold coming all clean and bright, shining from the ore? Nature, right? Somebody has to do the work to remove all that dirt and come up with this bright, shining gold coin or whatever the case may be.
You're saying the reality, like the natural
That is the
reality,
reality. Yes.
that nigod is born with all the karmas obstructing. Like it is
Yes.
born as a nigod with full karmic obstruction.
It's
And
not
then,
born. It always
well,
existed. There is no such thing as born or die in Atma. It's always infinitely past, infinite future. It always existed. It always will.
So does that mean the Nigod did something and the obstructing karmas reduced, and that's why next time
Yes, yes.
it
The
got into
Nigod,
two cents?
the natural process, it something good happened to it where it came out of Nigod and became, 2 sense beings or something like that. Yeah.
or just natural ripening of the karmas, right?
Yeah, but this is all natural. There is no I'm
There's no
sure
volition.
Kavli knows some rhyme or reason, the details of it, but it happens, is the point.
So everything that we do, let's say in this life birth, right, in reducing our karma, right, kind of we know that this is not our final birth, right? So
Right.
next time when we are born, right, how does that carry forward? In the sense,
It
is
does.
it
Okay. So the way I like to explain this is anything you get a wow factor for it. Okay, let's say from childhood. How many things do you remember when you were 4-year-old or 6-year-old or 10-year-old?
one or two
Tell me
instances?
the events that you remember. Or
Yeah,
why do you think
a favorite toy or something?
something that gave you that wow factor is what
Yeah,
remains with you, right?
correct.
So many events happened when you were 4 years old, but there was this one toy that absolutely you loved it, and it took you that was that wow that remains with you. So if you have this wow factor about the Atma, wow, I have all these attributes, wow, this is who I am, it stays with you.
In the possibly next birth, and if it's a human birth, you
Yes,
will
and
realize.
there is definitely, like I told you, we are in this Pratishtha. So they explained how Mahavir Bhagwan, yesterday was this drama, or before that, there was this thing about all his lives previous. So they did this little drama where the Jeev of Mahavir comes and thinks about, oh, before this, was it 27 bhav, or I don't know how many bhav they talked about. So he starts from his 27th life, what he was, what did he do, that he went to this Raja, he became Raja, then he became Seth, then he went to Swarg, then he went to Narak, then he came into the lion form, and in the lion form, he got Samyak Darshan, then he took birth in this, and they also talk about what all he did by which he had to take those lives. And then when he came back, and then some of the births, he heard this soul knowledge from some of the sadhus or munis, and that stayed with him. So when he came to that next birth, even though he was a Raja, he thought about it and then took Diksha, because he had that little knowledge from previous times. Or that previous knowledge can become Nimit in Samyak Darshan. So even when he was a lion, he already had this information, knowledge, wow factor in his life, but it was hidden. So then he sees these sadhus, coming in the sky, and whatever little bit they told him, it reminded him of all the knowledge he had learned prior. And he got Samyak Darshan. So yes, all this goes. But whatever you give importance to goes. If it's hawa mein pad liya chala gaya, then it doesn't go. You really have to make it your own. Just like the novels I studied in my college life, I don't think I remember much of it.
Yeah, or even the
Because it
multiplication
wasn't
table,
impactful
right?
to me. What's
Yeah.
that?
even the multiplication table, right? You would have done so much rote learning about it. It has now gone into your
It's now
brain, like
gone because they
in the
were
middle
not
of,
so impactful. Yes. So you
yeah, in the
have to
middle of
make
the night
it
also.
impactful to yourself. Yes.
Got it. No, this was good. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So we are done with the karma chapter. Now we have to decide either we go to Raksha Bandhan. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're good. So, or we could do Dev Stuti. Dev Stuti is kind of a little long and a bit difficult to understand. That's why I did the other chapters first. So you have some basic information before we do the Dev Stuti. You guys pick. Should we do Raksha Bandhan first or should we do Dev Stuti? Because we have skipped that before.
Raksha Bandhan.
Okay, let's do a story. There's some entertainment. Okay. So now, Dinesh, does it have two Patra? Yeah, there's two people needed here also. So Dinesh Burarji and Dipali, how about you two do it? Okay, go ahead, share energy.
Yeah, just
Should I start the teacher?
Yeah, that's fine.
Should we read it? Should we read it in Hindi or English?
English. I've decided we'll try to do these classes in English so we can review our books, our translation books. If you guys are all okay with it.
no. In fact, I like this approach than the earlier one. Right, stick to one language so that the words, right, are we are able to recollect those words. Right, having words in two languages,
Yeah,
it's
but
difficult.
the words that we are reading in italics, I want you guys to remember as those.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
In this
I'm going to
sense,
say I honestly prefer Hindi, but I think I will try the English, the language, and then see if it works with me.
If
So I'll read it.
anything that you feel that it's, let's say a paragraph, I explain in English, and you can request that, can we explain it in Hindi? And I can do that. How about that?
Sure.
Go ahead.
The students are hereby informed that the great festival of Raksha Bandhan is tomorrow. On this day, Akampana Acharya and his 700 disciples were relieved from physical torture. Therefore, it is a joyous day for us. On this occasion, the school shall remain closed tomorrow.
Student.
Akampana
Gurudev.
Acharya, that is the name of the Acharya. So वो बोल रहे हैं कि कल राखी रक्षाबंधन फेस्टिवल है इसलिए स्कूल बंद है.
Gurudev, who was Akampana Acharya? What kind of physical torture were they subjected to and how was it stopped? Please explain that in brief.
Listen, Akampana Acharya was a Digambar, sky-clad monk. He was the Acharya, head of monks, of a Sangha or a congregation of 700 monks. Once he, along with his group, reached Ujjain. Sri Varma was the king of Ujjain at the time. He had 4 ministers, Bali, Namuchi, Brihaspati, and Prahlada. When the king heard about the arrivals of the monks, he, along with his ministers, subjects, and army went to pay his respect to the Munis. The 4 ministers also went with him. All the monks were in deep meditation. Therefore, there was no opportunity to engage in any discourse or discussion. The minister had no faith in Digambara monks. Hence, they tried to instigate the king against the monks. They said, Maunam Murkhasya
Murkhasya Bhushanam.
Bhushanam. Silence is the ornament of a fool. Ministers accused the monks of using silence as a ploy to hide their ignorance and alleged that this was why the monks were quiet. Shuddha Sagar Muniraj was returning to his congregation after Ahara, ritual of accepting food. Seeing him, one of the ministers ridiculed him, saying, "Another bull, a stupid person is coming." They embroiled him in arguments and debate. With his strong logical ability and powerful arguments, the monk quietly shattered their pride. The ministers lost their composure in front of the king. So, at that time, the ministers left silently, but at night, all four returned and tried to attack the monk with swords. But as soon as they lifted the hand together to attack, their hands froze in raised position. In the morning, when the king and the people heard this news, everyone came there. All praised the monk, and king exiled the four ministers.
Why did the monk stay there the whole night? He should have stayed with the Sangha practicing meditation.
When the monk Shrutsagra narrated the debate with the ministers to Acharya Sri, he said that you should not have engaged in the discussion at all. Because just as milk fed to the snake makes it more venomous, similarly, spiritual discussions with an ignorant person with intense passions only increases their anger. In this state of intense passion, they could return to inflict some upsurge or physical torture. Therefore, he should go to the same place and stay in meditation tonight.
Then,
those four ministers went to Hastinapur and started working under King Padmaraya. Once, when he was pleased with something, the king awarded them a boon of their choice. They requested their boon be granted at a future time. Once, the same Akampana Acharya, while doing vihara is when monks move from one place to another, along with his 700 disciples, arrived in Hastinapur. On seeing the Munis arrive, Minister Bali asked King Padmaraya to grant him the pending boon. He asked that he be allowed to rule the kingdom as a king for 7 days. As soon as he became the king, he started inflicting intense upsurge or physical tortures on the Munis. At that time, King Padmaraya's brother, Muniraj Vishnu Kumar, who had previously accepted the orders of monkhood, saved them.
how did a weaponless Muni, Vishnu Kumara, save the 700 Munis from a powerful, cruel king?
Muni Vishnu Kumar had acquired the power of Vikriya Riddhi, ability to transform the size of his body.
What is this Vikriya Riddhi?
Vikriya Riddhi enables the one with this power to make one's body as big or as small as one's wishes. Vishnu Kumar gave up his vows as monkhood, took the form of Bhavaniya, dwarf whose body is very small, about the size of 52 fingers, and went to the court of King Bali. King Bali told him to ask for anything that he desired. He asked for land measuring his 3 footsteps. When Bali accepted his demand for 3 steps of land, Vishnu Kumara increased the size of the body and measured the entire land with just 2 steps. In this way, he defeated King Bali and protected the Munis. That day was Purnima or full moon of Shravana, month of the lunar calendar month. From that day on, we celebrate Raksha Bandhan festival on this day. Monks were protected and Bali was arrested.
Is it possible to do all this in the state of a monk?
No, brother, you did not pay attention to what I said. I told you that he abandoned the monk position and then he took on disguise of Bhavani. Since such activity is inappropriate for a Muni, he had to take ritualized penance and be reinitiated into monkhood.
Glory to Muni Vishnu Kumara.
The truth is that Akampana Acharya and his 700 disciples deserve the praise because so many adversities also couldn't disturb them from their Atma Dhyan or self contemplation.
As well as Muni uh, Shrutasagara, who defeated the four ministers in debate and shattered their pride.
His
Dipali,
scholarly
remember I said the A at the end is not to be pronounced as A. So it's just Shrut Sagar, not Shrut Sagara.
Okay, Shrutasagara, who defeated the four ministers.
His scholarly wisdom is praiseworthy, but he should not have entangled with the wicked ministers. It is inappropriate for a spiritual practitioner to get involved with the wicked.
Why?
Can't you see? All the conflict was a result of this only. Therefore, every spiritual inclined person should distance himself from complex worldly distractions and remain diligent in tattva abhyasa, the study and practice of spiritual fundamental elements. It is a true way to protect oneself from worldly bondage.
So let's stop the sharing. And so let's think about the few things that are noteworthy here. Okay, so the story everybody understood, right? So there was these 700 munis that were in town, and the Raja believed in them, but this Mantri who was insulted in the some other time, so he wanted to take a revenge. So he was insulted when they came and they asked the question to that guy. So one thing we learned from this is not to talk to religion to people who are not interested. Even in social circles, you will see that there are some people who are genuinely interested and they will ask you something. And if you know something, of course, by all means, depart that knowledge. But if people are just either inquisitive for no reason, just like that, or they want to insult you, or they want to find something wrong with it, it's not worth our time. So that is why when somebody tells me, oh, explain this to me, and I'm like, okay, I don't have an hour to explain this to you. You want to learn, you can join the class. Because a lot of people are actually genuinely not interested. They're just curious or just, whiling away time. Or some may even have dvesh bhav towards it.
Yeah, they want to create conflict, or they want to be entertained, or they show that you're a fool, or they have all sorts of reasons, right?
Yeah, or some may want to prove their religion is superior, or whatever the case may be. And we don't want to indulge in those kind of things. Like I said, we are in this for ourselves, for my soul, not for somebody else's soul. So somebody else, they're wrong or right, is not my problem.
They have similar rules in can I just add, Auntie, they have similar rules in a lot of Hindu things, that the rules of Vad Vivad, you only engage with, debate with somebody who has the true desire to know what the truth is. Otherwise, you don't bother. You don't get involved.
Yeah,
because
otherwise you don't bother.
There's no point.
And even even if you know, that doesn't mean it's your responsibility to improve the world. Yes, if you know somebody's interested, by all means, you can share the knowledge. But otherwise, it's not your duty to improve the world. You only can improve yourself. Okay. So that was one mistake the guy did, because these people came with the wrong intention to start with. So he tried. He first stayed quiet, but then he was instigated. They said Mon is not speaking is a sign of being a fool. So then, see, even the monks, they are not yet perfect, right? So they also have that little pride in themselves. So that pride made him like say, no, so he spoke that he knows better than them. And he did win the conversation. But because he won the conversation, the pride of these other people got hurt. So they wanted to take a revenge. And so it's the worldly life is all a drama of kashais. Because you have pride, you feel insulted, then you take revenge, then you get more karmas, and then the other person tries to take revenge from you, and the whole circle goes. So then because they wanted to take a revenge, then that whole thing happened where this guy pleased the king, and he said, okay, you can have the authority for 1 day, and they wanted to kill all the munis. So to save this one Vishnu, munis will have those kind of special abilities, but normally they don't use them. They don't even pay attention that they have developed, because with meditation, you naturally develop all these extra abilities. Even when you have, like even Hindu sages who meditate, they can develop special abilities. But there, you have special abilities, you become chamatkari, you get famous, you get this famous Baba, and everyone's starting to work. We don't do that in Jainism. We have no importance of those special abilities. Okay. To us, they are not something big deal. It just naturally happens. Most of the true munis don't even pay attention that those special abilities have come to them. Okay. So this Vishnu Kumar, because kind of get rag towards the munis, wanted to save them. So he realized his ability to become small and big. So he did this whole thing, where he asked for the jameen and all that. So the lesson to be learned is you cannot do that in the Muni Avastha. Munis are not supposed to save people or kill people or do anything good or bad to people. They're supposed to be with themselves. So in order to do this, he had to give up his Munipana. As a Shravak, as a householder, you can save people, you can do things because you still have that Rag and Dvesh. So he gave that up, he saved the Munis, and then he took the prayashchit, because obviously that's a wrong thing to do as a Muni, and then got back into the. Now, the other thing they talked about is the Akampanacharya, all the 700 sadhus, they stayed equanimous. The king, those who were going to try to kill them or give them misery, they stayed equanimous towards them, as well as equanimous towards the Vishnu Kumar who saved them. Okay, so these are the 3 or 4 main points we get out of this story.
Why is the story called Raksha Bandhan?
Because he protected the munis. So protecting somebody who is involved in their soul is a lot bigger than this worldly protection that Raksha Bandhan now has become. Now Raksha Bandhan is about the brother protecting the sister. So that is a, rag activity. You love your sister, so you're going to protect her. So, but Muni is also, Vishnu Kumar did it because of rag, but it was Shubh rag. So anything that is towards, like, even when you go to the temple, it's rag, but it's Shubh rag. Versus you do it for worldly things, it's Ashubh rag. Okay. Any questions? Otherwise, we move on. I think let's go to do the Devs thing.
I just had one question from the previous topic, and it just came to my mind. What is the difference between Atma and Jivan?
Same.
Is there a difference? Is the
No.
same thing?
Same.
Okay, thank you.
But Jeev sometimes is, as a word, is used for body mixed with Atma also.
Oh, okay.
Embodied soul is also called Jeev. Like we are all Jeeves, but we are embodied in this body. All right.
Can we say Vyavaharik way of saying Atma is Jeev, and
Sort of.
Nishchay way is saying Atma?
Mhm. Okay. So just to give us a break, I don't want to do two stories simultaneously. We will just go back to the first chapter.
Let me share.
Now that we have some background, I think it'll be a little easier. It's so here what we're going to do is there is quite a few verses of this Dev Stuti. Dev Stuti means praising the Dev, right? And Sache Dev, Vitragi Dev. And there's 18 stanzas. So we will circulate one by one. So one person reads the Hindi part, then reads the meaning of it, and then I'll explain, and then the next person um, does the second stanza. Like that, we'll rotate. And yeah, this will be interesting to read in this English version. Let's see how it goes. Okay. I see Bahubali the first, so we'll start with him. Okay, I'll just briefly show you how to read it. There's a little bit of singing makes it easier to read. Sakala gyeya gyaya katab tadapi nijanandarasaleen. Sojinendra jayavantanit ariraj rahasavihin. I know it's going to be a little difficult to read in this English, but let's try. You're muted, Bahubaliji.
I will try to, try to bring a singing, but I don't think it's possible. I'll try.
Okay. Well, that's what we are learning. Always be open to learning.
Sakala geya gyaya katadapi nijananda rasaleen Sojinendra jayavantanita ariraja rasaha vihin.
You did it. So it
Yeah,
was fine.
very good.
Well.
Okay.
All right. So now, I don't know how in this book we have done this. Where's the English explanation? Where's the explanation of this? Can you go down?
No, here only, right?
It's down below.
Oh,
There it's
great.
below.
Wonderful. Yeah, read that then.
So, okay. You want me to read that, correct? Yes?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Pandit Daulat Ramji praises attributes or qualities of Lord Jinendra and says, Ho Jinendra Deva, even though you are the knower of all Gneya in Loka, you are completely immersed in your own pure bliss. You are free from moha, raga, dvesha, delusion, attachments, aversion, ignorance, etc., and all vikara distortions that are due to the nimitta of 4 gatya, obstructive karmas. So, hail to you.
Okay. So this is what we are reading is praising the Bhagwan, right? So Dev Stuti is something you would do. Let's say you went to the temple. Now you got an hour to spend and you don't know what to do. You can't be just sitting there and staring at the murti. That's not going to do you any good. So if you wanted to go to the temple, peacefully spend some time there, these are few things you could do. So you read the attributes of Bhagwan, you feel the importance of it. So it says that, Hey Jinendra Bhagwan. So now you're praising, right? So you're going to talk about what all Bhagwan does. Even though you are the knower, he knows everything. Remember, Keval Gyan is everything is known to him. The minutest thing of even this fact that my finger moved, he knows. Okay. So you know everything of the Lok and Alok. Lok, remember, is the akimbo Jain symbol. Have you guys seen the Jain symbol?
Yeah.
It's like a person standing with his arms on the waist, right? So that is the Lok, right? That is the whole universe. That Alok is there is still space outside of that. And Bhagwan knows it all. Okay, so that is why you call it Lok, Alok, Lok and Alok. Even though you know it all, but You are not concerned. You are immersed in your own soul. See, Bhagwan, that the knowledge came to us because of his previous karmas. So his Tirthankar time, when he was Tirthankar, the Onkar Dhwani came about. But he didn't wish to part that knowledge or improve somebody or, oh, let me tell you this or let me tell you that. No. And now once he's Siddha, he's not even parting that knowledge. He's simply immersed in himself. Even though he knows everything, he can know everything, he can see everything, but he is involved in his own peace and happiness. And तो चार घातिया कर्म है निमित्त जिनके. So because of the nimitt, all the 4 घातिया karma, you have destroyed all of them. Because you are without vikar. You don't have unnatural thinking and all that. Okay? So basically, when I praise somebody, let's say, sometimes we will just say, oh, you look nice. And sometimes you don't mean to say, you're just faking it. Sometimes you mean to say, but you're not specific why that person looks good to you. Here, we are being specific. That why do I praise you? Why do I think you're praiseworthy? Because of these attributes within you. So if you were somebody who knows everything, but was telling this person, oh, you are good, you are bad, you're this, you're that, what do? We have this little knowledge and we are there to judge everybody in the world. But Bhagwan doesn't do that. So we appreciate that quality and we want to be that. We want to have those qualities. And that is why we praise. In Jainism, we don't go to Bhagwan to ask for anything. He's our idol. And why he's our idol, why we want to become like him, we are learning more and more of those attributes, which give more ahobhav bhakti for Bhagwan when we know what is he like. Okay? So one knows everything, but he is immersed in himself. Okay. Who is next? Safalta? Do you want to do the next one?
Yeah. Sure, thank you. Name Jaya
Slow
Vitrag.
down, please, so she can read the Jaya Vitrag.
Jaya Vitrag Vijananapur.
Okay, I'll sing it again for you. Jaya Vitrag Vijnanapur Jaya Mohat Mirho Koharan Sur.
Jaya Vitrag Vijananapur Jaya Mohat Mirko Haramasur Jaya Gnana Anantananta.
Anantanantadhara. I know this is a little difficult because we are used to reading Hindi and not English, but let's, go ahead, continue.
Dragasukh.
Very good.
Dragasukh Viraj Mandata Apar.
Yeah. Dragasukha Viraj Mandita Apar.
Dragasukha Viraj Mandita Apar.
Very good. Okay, go ahead.
O Lord, I praise you as you are the Vitrag, sun which dispels the darkness of Moha Rag Dves. I bow to you as you adorn Ananta Gnan, so you are complete Gnani Sarvagna. You are adorned with Ananta Darshan, Ananta Sukh, and Ananta Virya. Lord, hail to you.
So here they're describing Bhagwan's attributes, that he has Anant Gyan, Anant Darshan, Anant Virya, and Anant Sukh, which is opposite of which karmas? Who is going to tell me? Yeah, go ahead, Bahubaliji.
Jnanavarniya, Darshanavarniya, Mohaniya, and Antaraya.
Yes, very good. And next time I ask, all of you should have raised your hand. Okay. So, and then the four together are called Ghati karmas. Okay. So, because you have all that infinite knowledge, infinite perception, all that, that is why I praise you. Go ahead. Now, the next one, Viraj,
Yeah.
the third. Yeah.
Jai Paramasanta Mudra Samit
Jai Param Shant Mudra Samet.
Jai Paramasanta Mudra Samit Bhavijna ko nij anubhuti het Bhavi Bhagana.
No, remember it's Bhavi. There is no line on the top, or is there?
Oh, so yeah. Bhavi.
Bhavi Jana, yeah.
Bhavi Bhagana.
Very good. Bhavi Bhagana Vaj Joge Vashaya. I know they're difficult enough to in
Yeah.
the end. You guys are trying to.
What? Yeah, Jogeshwaya. Tumaduni hai sun Vibraman Nasaya.
Vashaya.
Nashaya, right. Oh Lord.
I'll call you.
Yeah, oh Lord, hail to your supreme peaceful posture that inspires Bhavya Jeev, one who is capable of attaining liberation, to turn their focus on achieving self-realization. Your Divya Dhavni, amidst due to...
Dhwani means noise. Divya Dhwani.
Divya Dhwani, amidst due to the immense fortune of Bhavya Jiv and your Okana Yoga, vibrational activity of Atma due to speech. On hearing this Divya Dhwani, moha delusions of Bhavya Jiv are destroyed.
It's Bhavya. Again, there's no line on the...
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Bhavya.
So here, what we are saying is Bhavya Jeev. Bhavya is a terminology used for everybody that is able to attain moksha. Now, this is just a fact that you don't need to worry about, but all that is saying is there are some very few jivas that are abhavya, which means they just naturally, that's the way they are. They're never going to go to moksha. Okay. But the fact that you guys are here interested in moksha, automatically you are bhavya jeev. That's why you're interested. So bhavya jeev, they...
Sorry, Auntie, did you say there are abhavya jeev who will...
There are some. That is just the
will never go to moksha?
Yes.
You said they will never go to moksha? So are those like some kind of like nigods or something that will never go to moksha, or what?
No. They can be devtas, they can be humans, they can be everything. They just keep going round and round in these four gatis, just never reach moksha. That's all.
And that's their fate? They can never reach moksha?
That's just the way it is. Now, but so what they're saying is, I praise you because you are Vitragi. Oh, wait, I'm doing this different one. Sorry. Supreme peaceful posture. Param Chant Mudra. Right? When we see Bhagwan, what do we see? He looks in a very peaceful calm posture, right? And when I see that, I remember that my Atma is like that too. So I want to turn my focus towards my own Atma too. Right? So let's imagine you're sitting in the temple, looking at Bhagwan. See, it becomes more meaningful to do darshan when you understand that, oh my God, look at Bhagwan's face. It's emotionless. It's just very calm and peaceful. And how is it like that? Because he doesn't have any rag, dvesh, moh. How? If you look at our faces, it will always have an expression based on how we are feeling at that moment. And Bhagwan's face is expressionless because he doesn't have those feelings that we do. So when I see you, Bhagwan, then I realize that, oh my God, I also want to be with without all this rag, dvesh, moh and everything. So I praise you. And भव्य जीवों के भाग्य से और आपके वचन योग से आपकी दिव्य ध्वनि होती है. So those who are destined to get this knowledge happen to be present in your Samvasaran when the Divya Dhvani happens, right? Everybody understands what is Divya Dhvani,
Yes.
right? So Bhagwan, before he became Tirthankar, he did that kind of karma in his third previous life, that he wants the whole world to understand this knowledge. Because that time he was still Ragi Dveshi, right? So he had this wish that I wish everybody would get this knowledge. Now, when he becomes Tirthankar, he's not Ragi Dveshi anymore. He's given up all the attachments and everything. But because he had that karma from the past, even though it was good karma, right? Shubh karma. It's a good thought that everybody, learns this. So automatically, this Onkar Dhvani comes through his soul, and it's everybody, whether it's animal, human, devtas, they all understand in their own language. So that is the specialty about the Devitva. So he says that those who are destined to understand this knowledge happen to be there, and your Divyadvani becomes Nimit in their now they will understand all this and stop this circle of life and death. Okay. Any questions on that? Otherwise, we move to the fourth one. So Dinesh and Dipali, whichever one you guys decide to go, one of you.
Okay. We're on Tumaguna, right? Okay. So
Yes.
Tumaguna chintata nij par vivek pragatay viga.
Chintat nij par vivek.
Tumaguna chintata nij par vivek pragatay pragata
Very
vigata
good.
आपद अनेक.
Very good.
तुम जग भूषण दूषण वियुक्त सब महिमा युक्त विकल्प मुक्त.
Okay, you read well. Did you read from the English or Hindi?
The English transliteration.
Very good job. Okay. Go ahead and read the meaning now.
So the contemplation of your guna attributes leads to the destruction of swa, self, and para, non-self, thereby destroying many disasters and vikar, defects. Well, is that wrong? It should be vikar or vikar. Is it vikar?
Yeah, that is wrong. Okay, so who was taking notes? This is wrong. It should have had the line on the top.
Should have a line and should have an A at the end too. So vikar and a small
Yes.
p.
Yes. Yes.
Vikar, defects that occur in the state of mithyatva, erroneous belief. You are free of all dosh, faults, free of all vikalpa, fluctuating psychic activities that cause stress. You adorn all kinds of glories and are the embellishment of the universe.
Of the universe. Okay, Amitji, for today, can you write that vikar and that other word I told you?
Yeah, Narakayu and Vikar. I noted.
Yeah, please, thank you. Okay, so basically what he's saying is that when I sit in front of you and I contemplate on your attributes, it leads me to understand me, the self, and everything other than me, the distinction between the two. And I start understanding all the different things that is happening like to me because of the vikar. All those are reducing when I sit in front of you and think of your attributes. Okay? Because the vikar will happen when I'm in the state of mithyatva. And you are free of all doshas. You, matlab Bhagwan, you are free of all dosha, of all the contemplations, of all, you have all these activities that are glorious and are embellishment of the universe, which means you are, all your attributes are glorified in the universe. Okay, so some of it is poetic language. Obviously, when you're praising the Lord, you're using poetic words. But the rest of it is the gist of the soul and attributes, and that I want to be like you.
And Auntie, the word vikalp is that the opposite of sankalp? So sankalp, when you take like a vow or
no,
like
sankalp you take vow. Vikalp is the okay. So let me see. There's the English terminology. You plan. What are the three things that you talk about in the meetings? You
Is it the
plan.
affirmation?
Huh?
Sankalp is the affirmation?
No, sankalp. No, sankalp is when you decide that this is what you're going to do. Vikalp is the planning state. Vikalp means the thought process. Kind of like, in the business world, you do brainstorming. Then you decide on something, you plan, and then you come up with the product, or this is what you're going to do, but with a plan to do something. So vikalp
Usually
is the
vikalp
thought
means
process.
option, right?
Options, yes. So what do you do in brainstorming? You think of all the options and which ones you're going to choose. That. Yes, the word vikalp itself means multiple choice. So choose one vikalp. Choose one out of these four. You understand what does vikalp mean now?
Mhm.
Your thought process is thinking of so many different things. That's what it is. So you are free of all that. You don't have all those, exterior choices that you're trying to make. And you have everything that is praiseworthy. All right. So let's move on to the next. Dipali, you want to read the next one?
Sure.
Viruddha
Aviruddha Shuddha Chetana Swarupa Paramatma
Chetana. There's no line at the end. Aviruddha Shuddha Chetana Swarupa
Paramatma Parama Pavana Anupa Shubha
Pavan Anupa. There's a line on the top of A for Pavan.
Anupa
Paramatma Param Pavan Anupa.
Paramatma Parama Pavana Anupa Shubha Ashubha Bhavakina Swabhavika Parinamatmaya Achina
Yeah.
Achina.
Okay. So the last two lines were Shubha Ashubha Vibhava Abhavakeen Swabhavik Parinati May Achina.
Is it swabhavik or swabhavika?
It's Swabhavik written in Hindi, but Swabhavik is also correct. So we'll keep it like that. But Parinatimay, right? Parinatimay is correct. Abhav is correct. Kina. So the C, K-I-N-A with a line on the I becomes the badi E. So instead of kina, you'll pronounce it kina. And then Ashubha. Okay, so S also has that little tilde or something on the top. So that becomes sh instead of sa. Instead of Asubha, you will say Ashubha Vibhava. Do you guys see the difference? A little dot on the top of S makes it sh, and the line on A makes it A. Okay, go ahead, Dipali. Read now.
O Lord, you are beyond comparison in the universe, are supremely sacred, pure, and Jnana Darshanmaya, one who is conscious personified. You are free of all contradictions. You have destroyed all vikara, vicious thoughts of Shubha, auspicious and Ashubha inauspicious types, and dwell in your permanent natural self. Hence, you will never again manifest in a dilapidated state.
Okay. So we are saying that, hey Bhagwan, you are beyond any comparison. There's nothing that we can compare you with, because you're supremely pure, sacred, only pure knowledge and darshan, pure perception. You are without any good or bad thoughts, right? Equanimous. And you have gotten rid of all your auspicious and inauspicious thoughts, and you are in your self, you're dwelling in your pure self. And you will never come down in pure self. And that is what is greatness of our Bhagwan. It's not like he's Bhagwan and now he's going to come down to human form. That is what you normally hear in the Hindu traditions, right?
Yeah.
That they will say that Bhagwan is Sarvagya, but the same soul took avatar of Ram and then avatar of Krishna and avatar of somebody else. In Jainism, if you take avatar, you are not God. God never takes avatars. That is our attribute of godhood. Once they've reached moksha, they don't come back down. Okay? So now you will never be coming to the lower form of life. And that is why we are praising him. If our God also came down to human, did good or bad to other people, no, then he is not God for us. Because who would do good or bad to people? Person who is Ragi and Dveshi. And we only praise who is not Ragi and Dveshi, who is equanimous. Okay?
Right.
All right. Let's see who is next. Dinesh Burarji and then Arunji. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. Do the sixth one. Ashtadash dosha vimukta dhir.
अष्टादश दोष विमुक्त धीर. It's tough. I'll repeat after you.
That's okay. I'll help you. Sachatushtai may rajat gambhir.
सचतुष्टयमय राजत गंभीर.
Munigan gharadi sevat mahant. Munigan
मुनिगणधरादि से मुनिगणधरादि सेवत महंत. नव केवल लभधि राम धरंत.
Ramadharant.
लभधि रमाधरंत.
Very good. You guys are doing
You,
great. Obviously, you're not
thank you.
used to reading these kind of words. So I think you're all
I
doing
was trying
very
to find this in the Hindi version, but couldn't find it.
Oh, you should. I mean, the Hindi book should be there, the PDF. And those who have the
I
physical
have it
book,
open.
did you guys get, by the way, did you guys all order your books and gotten it? You
Yeah.
should try to, because you get both Hindi and English versions, I think. Well, no,
Yeah.
you won't. English versions, they will only be in PDFs. The package you will get will only have the Hindi books and maybe the older version of English books, but don't refer to those. Those are not that great.
Yeah, I got the older version of the English books, but
Yeah.
I refer to the PDF, the
They're
one that you
slightly
get.
different. So we are trying to refer to the PDFs. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
So go ahead and read the description, Dinesh.
You are free of 18 doshas or the flaws. You adorn with Ananta Chatustya, fourfold attributes of Ananta Jnana, infinite knowledge, Ananta Darshan, infinite perception, Ananta Sukh, infinite joy, Ananta Virya, infinite power. Great monks and Gandhardev are in your service as you adorn Keval Gyan, infinite knowledge, etc. 9 types of Shaik Bhav, natural disposition that manifests due to complete annihilation of karma. Shaik Bhav.
So basic Shaik Bhav means the permanent destruction. So you have permanently destroyed those karmas, and because of that, there are munis who are in your service, Gandhar Devadi also are in your service. But that is naturally just happens, and Bhagwan has no concern about that. Whether he gets disciples or not, he doesn't care. Okay. And then he is free of any kinds of doshas, and he has the Anant Chatushtay, which we already learned before. So basically, they're praising and talking about different things that are associated with Bhagwan, and we're getting the ahobhav, that even though Bhagwan, you don't care, but you still have all these devas serving you, Gandhars are there with you. Arunji, do the next one.
तुम शासन से अमेय अजीब शिव गए जाहि जे सदीप भव सागर में दुख छारे बारे तारन को और न आप तारी.
Very good. Okay. So go ahead and read the English meaning.
Following the path preached by you, infinite jivas have attained, are attaining, and will attain liberation in the future. This ocean of sansar, worldly existence of transmigration, is filled with unfathomable salty water of sorrow. Besides you, no one can help us cross it.
So basically, now I'm praising the Bhagwan, saying that if we also walk on the same path as you did, we can also accomplish what you accomplished. Right? And this worldly life is like an ocean, which is filled with lot of sorrows, just like the ocean is filled with salty water. And you are the only person who, if I follow, I will also reach like you. So first, we realize the attributes of true Bhagwan. Once we are convinced why he is the true Bhagwan for us, then we want to follow his path. Okay. All right. Let's see. We'll go back to the circle. Who did the first? Amitji, have you read yet?
No, I am not.
You have not, so go ahead.
Okay. यहाँ लाखी निजा दुख गदा हरन
Wait.
काजा.
Remember, you're doing all the A's as A's. They're not A. Yah lakhi nij dukh gad haran kaj.
यहाँ लखी निजन दुख गद हरन काज तुम ही निमित्त करन कारण इलाज जाने तैम मैम सराना आया उच्चरम निजा दुख जो सिरा लहाया.
Okay, it's a difficult one. Let me do the last two lines again. Jane tate me sharan aay, ucharo nij dukh jo chir lahaya. We are not used to reading C as a ch, so I know it's difficult. Okay, go ahead.
I have realized that you alone are nimitta, auxiliary cause, for me to vanquish these frightful worldly miseries. Knowing this, I seek your refuge as I share with you the miseries I have suffered since eternity.
I seek your refuge, not refugee.
Refuge, sorry.
Refugee is a different spelling, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, it says that I have realized that if I follow what you did, I can accomplish moksha also. But following you or you can only be the nimitta cause for me. I still will accomplish moksha of my own doing, of my own purusharth. Bhagwan cannot give me moksha. Some other religions will say, oh, go ask Bhagwan, he will give it to you, like as if वो लड्डू हाथ में दे देंगे. Our Bhagwan doesn't do that. He can be an instrumental cause because we can follow the path he followed, and we can also accomplish what he accomplished. And he says, even though you're only an instrumental cause, but because of that, I have come to you. So I can get inspiration to reach moksha for myself. Okay. And I have been in misery for time infinite. So far, I've suffered, and now I want to follow your path so I can also attain the moksha, the permanent happiness. All right. Guys, is it getting too much for you? Then we'll do one more and then we'll do the story of Jambudhatmi to make it a little more interesting. Or if you want to continue, that's fine too.
We
Please
are
say.
out of time, right? We already at 10.
So it is.
Yeah, Virat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we start at 8 or 8:30? I'm
Yeah,
getting
8,
confused.
8.
Oh, we started at
Oh,
7.
oh,
We
good.
started
Then
even
never
before
mind.
8. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. I lose track because my other classes start at 8:30. So I was thinking
Yeah.
this was 8:30 to 9:30. So then fine, we can stop here and we'll resume with 9 verse. Okay, no problem. Hey, if I do that mistake, sometimes you can remind me. Okay, because all the other classes start at 8:30, so I got confused a little bit there. Okay, then let's wrap up. If there is any burning question, I'll take it. Otherwise, we'll just do our. Okay. All right, let's see. Sahajanandi शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है वंदना शत बार है। जय जिनेन्द्र सभी। नमकार मंत्र।